recording.
Awesome. Hey guys, I'm so glad to have you guys join us today for the second webinar in our Instagram marketing series at Economic Development Collaborative. If you joined us last week, hello again. And if you're new, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Erin and I'm a marketing advisor at Economic Development Collaborative. I also have my own boutique social media agency called Robin Signet, which provides social media strategy, content marketing, and implementation services for small to medium-sized brands. I've pretty much worked in marketing for over 6 years now, both on the agency side and in-house. So yeah, before we get into the full webinar, let's go over some quick Zoom housekeeping rules briefly before we start. Firstly, as this is a webinar, everybody is muted and doesn't have video. And this webinar is being recorded and a copy will be emailed out along with our business resource guide. So if you have any technical difficulties, please message the panelists using the chat box. Also, please post all questions into the Q&A feature. It can be found in the black toolbar at the bottom of your screen. And also, due to the volume of questions we tend to receive in each session, we ask you to please wait until the end of the presentation to ask your question. Many questions should be answered in the presentation itself. We also ask that you look at the questions in the Q&A that have already been asked. There's a good chance that someone had the same question as you and already asked it. And my team, Brianne and Emily, will be answering some questions as we go along. So make sure to be on the lookout to see if they've answered your question as well. Yep, so let's get started. So as promised in our first webinar, we'll be discussing the process of setting up Instagram shopping on your business account. Interestingly enough, I've never had the opportunity to actually set this up for a client, typically because they've already had the setup by the time I was onboarded. But since this was really highly requested to review in our series, I've done the homework for you all so that you can kind of kick back and take some notes. So you have the option to apply or sign up for Instagram shopping, but in addition to that, there are a bunch of requirements that you have to make sure that you're in compliance with before you sign up. Firstly, you want to make sure that you're in compliance with the merchant agreement. So Facebook has a link for all that. You also want to make sure you're in compliance with Facebook's commerce policies. So I've included a link there if you wanted to check it out or just write it down somewhere. So that's going to encompass the Instagram community guidelines, Facebook community standards, prohibited content, and restricted content. I've just, for the prohibited content, the types of content that I included in that list, it's not comprehensive, but I just included some that maybe not as obvious. So that would be alcohol, animals, digital media, electronic devices, medical and healthcare products, services, subscriptions, and digital products. So you'll primarily be wanting to sell physical goods that are approved. So you'll want to reference that, that commerce policy. And then included in restricted content are events or admissions tickets and gift cards and vouchers. After that, you'll want to make sure that you're located in one of their 46 approved countries. Assuming that you're attending this webinar, you're probably in California, so you're fine because it covers the US. And then like I mentioned before, you'll want to make sure that you're selling approved physical goods to be in compliance. And then you'll want to make sure that your business has a Facebook page, a Facebook catalog, and an Instagram business profile. So from there, you'll want to make sure your Instagram business profile is connected to your Facebook page. So I've included some screenshots to show the two ways to ensure that you're connected. On the left is how you would connect it on the Instagram side. So that would just be in your Instagram settings, you go to linked accounts, and then you can see that where you can connect the Facebook page if you click that. And then on the right side is how you would connect to Instagram on the Facebook page and back end. So it'll be a tab in the lower left section of your Facebook page settings. Your Instagram business profile also needs to be connected to a catalog manager. So one way to do that, if you don't have that already set up, is to use an e-commerce platform to set up the shop on Facebook directly through these platforms. So Shopify and BigCommerce, I think already have their own set of instructions on how to set that up natively in their platform. And then you also have the option to do it through Facebook's catalog. So you would go to your business manager, assuming that you already have that set up, and you would either create a new catalog or use an existing catalog to connect to your Instagram business account. So if you don't have a product or Facebook catalog yet, these are the steps to create one. You go to business.facebook.com/products, and you get pulled up to this this web page. And then you'd click that blue button that says create catalog, and then it's going to take you through this process. You're going to then want to choose e-commerce because you'd be selling products. And then from there, you would add the catalog name. That could be whatever you want. It's up to you. And then you have two options for uploading products to your Facebook catalog. So you can do it manually if you look in the screenshot in the right, you'll see upload product info and connect e-commerce platform. You can do it manually if you use upload product info. And then if you do connect e-commerce platform and you choose one of the platforms that are included in that drop-down list, then it will automatically import it in for you. So it's a lot easier. So you can also, if you haven't set this up already, but you already have those 3 assets ready to go, you can also connect it through Instagram in the settings when you sign up for shopping. So it'll then take you through the prompts to ask you to connect those assets. And then you're pretty much done from there. So once you've connected all of that and you sign up for Instagram shopping through the prompt in the back end, you'll then have it submitted for review. And once you have it submitted, just keep in mind that it can take a few days or longer, especially if you've added a new catalog to your existing shop to be reviewed by Instagram. And then if your account gets denied, which I hear it does happen frequently, and if it gets denied repeatedly, there are a few things you'll want to make sure to do, which is to make sure, like I said, to review all of Facebook's and Instagram's policies and agreements again and make sure that you're in complete compliance with those. Also make sure that there aren't any issues in your catalog manager under diagnostics. That could be something that's preventing you from getting that approval. And then if all else, doesn't work out and you really can't figure it out, the best next step is to just contact Facebook support. So you just go to that link that I've included below, scroll down, and there's going to be a chat box option to be able to chat with Facebook support, and they're typically very helpful in helping you figure out what the issue is. So once you've been approved, you'll be able to then add a product sticker to your stories and then add product tags to your Instagram posts. So I think for stories, you can only add up to 1 product sticker per story. And then for product tags, if you're just sharing 1 image or one video in a post, you can tag up to 5 products. And then in a carousel post with images and or videos, you could tag up to 20 products. So some things to keep in mind once you're approved and you're ready to go is that when you do delete a product from your catalog, it'll remove the ability to feature that product on Instagram, and you're going to lose any data or insights for that deleted product tag. And then if you do ever choose to switch catalogs, any tags I believe that you've added to previous posts won't be affected, and then you can always switch the catalog you want to use in your business settings. So with your Instagram shop set up, you want to make sure you do everything you can to nurture leads and inquiries to lead to conversions, and that's where kind of like social customer care comes in, which I don't think is talked about frequently enough, which is why I really wanted to cover it today. You'll want to pretty much set up systems and documentation so that your responses are always timely, appropriate, and solutions oriented. So, according to a JD Power survey, more than 23,000 online consumers that were surveyed, 67% of respondents reported having contacted a company via social media for support. And I mean, your customer service really needs to expand beyond just email and phone support to reflect the increasing trend of consumers to shop and expect support via social media, especially given, the ongoing pandemic. And another thing to just keep in mind that it's really all about convenience. Everybody is spending all their time on smartphones. I don't think that's really going to change anytime soon. And since we spend so much time on social media platforms already, it's a very easy step for consumers to then just like reach out to a business on social media and expect the same level of customer service as they would if they were to like call or email or something. I've also included summary of just 4 benefits that you would get from investing in social customer care. First of all, it's very cheap marketing, and it's clearly inexpensive compared to other marketing strategies, compared to Forbes if you're spending it on, paid social or advertising or anything else. If you are investing time and effort into making sure that you're always responding in a timely and appropriate manner, and being very helpful in your social customer care, the conversations that you have online can easily be served as content to be repurposed for your marketing efforts, and obviously like amplifies your brand to their connections. Like if you're responding to their public comments on Facebook or Instagram or something, or they're maybe like reposting a positive response that they got from you, or reposting a testimonial related to their experience with your brand, then that increases brand awareness to their circle. So it's only positive, and you're not spending extra money to get in front of those eyes. I wanted to include another quote from Forbes, which is just that, one of your best assets are customers who are willing to evangelize your brand. So engage with them, get social with them, respond to their comments, complaints, and questions, and make the conversations public and show the world that you're the brand to do business with. So this kind of like tacks on the point I was just making. It helps increase online clout because you're getting that credibility, you're getting that word of mouth from people who are saying positive things about your brand to their circles. So this type of activity will signal to your social media platforms that you're doing something right, that you're popular, and help your account get more reach and exposure. And again, kind of piggybacking on the same thing, it proves your credibility and amplifies your customer service story. And finally, it increases your sales. According to Groove HQ, a study by Bain & Company suggests that when companies engage and respond to customer service requests over social media, those customers on average end up spending 20 to 40% more with the company. So to get started, you're going to want to audit your online presence. And that starts with a few questions. First of all, you would want to ask yourself where your customers are on social media. I know that we're specifically like talking about Instagram marketing in this series, but I did want to open up the conversation to encompass all of your online marketing and not just Instagram. And if Instagram is the only place that your ideal customer hangs out, then so be it. But I didn't want to leave the other platforms out of the conversation too when setting up your social customer care protocol. So in terms of searching for mentions of your brand on popular platforms, make sure to also consider searching for misspellings of your brand, because people might not always get it right. Different variations of your brand name or keywords that would be associated with your brand to kind of help with the discovery aspect or with the search. And keep in mind in terms of, the second question, which is asking yourself which platforms your customers use the most. Don't just assume that just because like you prefer Instagram or Facebook, that your customers have the same preferences. You want to make sure that you don't confuse your preferences with that of your customers. And if you're really not sure and you really want to hear from the source, you can always ask maybe on an existing social media platform that you have, like Instagram. You can just do a survey, like use SurveyMonkey or Google Forms, include a link in your bio in Instagram, and ask people, what platforms they use. If you have an existing email list, you can ask them for that too, or ask them for their media consumption habits through that, and maybe share a little incentive like a $5 gift card or something like that to get more people to respond to it. And then from there, once you are, have those initial questions answered, you can then go to the next step, which is just asking yourself what they're saying online, what the typical purpose of those conversations are. So these kinds of conversations will help inform the type and the level of resources that you need to provide adequate social customer care. So if you find like a wealth of user-generated content, for example, then you can easily have that become a source of content curation to reshare on your social media platforms for branding content. And these conversations that you'll see frequently coming up will then help you determine like, okay, what exactly you need to document to make sure that those conversations or those questions are being managed and responded to it in an appropriate fashion. So once you've compiled all that information, you'll want to create a social customer care protocol, which is just some kind of document that houses all of this information together for your entire team to have access to. And with that document, you want to include all that information that we just talked about. And then you'll want to establish the goals for providing social customer care. So maybe you have a pretty common question about one specific type of product that you sell, and there you'll see that in store and through email and phone or whatever, you get the same kind of questions. You want to make sure to cover that in terms of the goals for providing social customer care. And another thing that's really important in terms of like when you're responding to people online is to define your brand voice. So just so that it's not, in discord with your brand overall, you want to keep it, on brand so that every touch point that they have with your brand stays consistent and memorable. So that would be, this part is very important just so that if you have other employees who are also kind of managing your social media or jumping on, or other managers, they'll always be in line with how they should respond and what tone that they should be responding to questions and requests. So yeah, like I said, list your customers' most frequented social media platforms, categorize the types of responses you can expect from each one, and then just set up a system or a schedule for monitoring the brand mentions, requests, or inquiries. So it could be once a day, or it could be a few times a week, depending. You can also, set up your social media platforms on your phone just to make sure that you get those alerts so that if anything does come in, you can at least let your employee know or let somebody know to respond to those things if they don't get those alerts or notifications. And then from there, you'll want to create a list of the FAQs and the website links and canned responses to all of those types of questions that you can expect from each platform. Yeah. And then once you have all of that documented, you'll also want to include in the protocol a system in place or a procedure for like how and when you'll respond, in terms of if you receive a bad review, if you have maybe like an angry customer who's like venting on social media. So like if you receive a bad review, or if you have somebody that's pissed off and just seems like they're on like an online rampage and you're not really sure what to do, setting up systems in place to know, okay, when is it appropriate for your employee to elevate the problem to your manager or to you for a response? And if you do receive a bad review, do you have some kind of canned response or a formula for responding to those bad reviews? And, for the angry customer who's just kind of going crazy online, how do you de-escalate that online situation? How do you kind of appease, appease them and let them know that they're seen, that they're appreciated, and at the same time be able to take it offline and handle it internally, or just, not in such a public arena. And then in terms of trolling, I think a lot of companies are always subject to that. How do you know if and when to respond? you know, when is it always necessary to respond to troll or just, you know, every kind of unnecessary comment. So just you'll want to create those systems in place so that everybody is on the same page when they're managing your social platforms. So with that said, I just wanted to leave a few best practices to keep in mind when you're, you know, setting up your social customer care protocol and, you know, are actively managing your social media platforms, is to always be transparent. Let people know of expectations and turnaround time. And if you don't know, you can just let them know, we don't know how long it'll take, but we will be with you every step of the way. Let them know that they're seen, that they're going to be taken care of, and they won't be forgotten, that they're not just another number. Check in with them every day, let them know the status, so that if you don't have a timeline for them, at least they know that they're not forgotten and that you're with them and that you really care about them and their business. Like I had, you know, briefly touched upon in the previous slide, know when to take the conversation offline. So if there is a request or a question that somebody's asking and it requires, you know, any personal information like phone number and email, know to like have them send you a DM or have them send you an email or something like that, so that that information isn't shared publicly. Or, you know, the situation with the angry customer, same thing. Come up with a way to like very smoothly and professionally take the conversation offline. And lastly, I think this is one of the most important parts, is to record all the conversations online to measure your efforts, because that will really help you get an understanding of the ROI of your social customer care protocol. To record every single time somebody does inquire about a certain product that you sell, and when they did it, and to like create a monthly log of that to see, okay, have any of these converted into a sale, or did it lead to a referral, or, you know, things of that sort, to help you like really gauge the effectiveness of your efforts. So with all that said, I wanted to provide some practical tips to create a smooth workflow for just, you know, Instagram and Facebook and other social media management, and just like review management, social customer care management, because for me at least, having to jump from like Instagram on my phone to then Facebook on my desktop, it's such a disjointed workflow, and it's very like overwhelming and stressful, I know, for a lot of people. So here are some little hacks that I've created to help myself and help other business owners make this a lot easier and streamlined. First of all, I haven't actually used this yet. This is a really nifty feature on Instagram, quick replies. And this is perfect for your canned responses for FAQs that come up. So I created a really basic one here on my Instagram account, where you can pretty much just create a shortcut. So, and just, it can be anything like store hours, whatever keywords that will help you remember to just type out whenever it's in response to an FAQ. And then you can type out your full message below that, and then it'll save to that list of quick replies on the right. So every time you're responding to a DM on your phone or whatever, if you just type out store hours, it's going to auto-populate that entire quick reply for you, which is amazing, because especially for someone like me, who ironically hates texting, it's great. I don't have to like constantly, you know, have to manually type it out. I hate doing stuff like that. Another nifty feature that Facebook came out with a while ago is the unified inbox. So essentially, Facebook really wants to act as your CRM, your all-in-one solution for business and sales. So they came out with this cool feature where you can manage all of your comments and messages on Facebook and Instagram. So let me navigate to the next slide, which will show you a clear picture. If you see on the left, there's a menu where you can see the types of messages that are coming in. So if you tap the bubble that says Messenger, that's going to be Facebook Messenger, and then below that is Instagram Direct. So if you have those two accounts connected, it'll auto-populate that, and you can easily respond on your laptop. And then also what's really cool on the right side is you can add a bunch of different labels and notes and contact details. excuse me. So if you notice with this guy, Rodney Robinson, they added VIP, referral follow-up. You can create your own labels and manage them however works best for you and your system. You can also add notes to keep track of, different conversations that you've had. And then what's interesting in the bottom is Facebook will automatically track all the activity that they've had with the specific user on Facebook, which is really helpful. So it's a really nice high-level overview of everything that's going on that other people can also reference as they're kind of like signing in and managing the messages and conversations that happen. And then finally, Instagram has this 2-tab inbox, which is really helpful for me. I kind of created this system just for myself, for clients. So the way that I've been doing it is using, just taking advantage of like the general and primary inbox and just categorizing the types of conversations based on those 2 tabs. So for the general tab, I tend to just like move all just, general, non-related to any like actual, customer support questions or whatever to the general section. So if somebody's like liking my Instagram story, then I'll just move it there. If somebody mentioned, my business or whatever, I'll move it to the general section. And in the primary section, I will move all of the actual customer service related questions there, maybe influencer marketing collaborations, things of that sort that I think I would want quicker access to and would have higher priority. I move it there. And also don't forget to check your inbox for requests, just because that notification doesn't always come up. So essentially, if you're not aware of what requests are, they're messages from Instagram profiles that you're not following. They tend to show up there instead of like auto-populating in one of these tabs. So just make sure to check that. So if there's any, new customer that your Instagram account isn't following, it could just be stuck in that requests inbox. So make sure to check that every day so that you're getting back to them in a timely manner. And that's it. We have time for some questions. So
all right, we have 2 questions so far. So everyone, thanks for being here. Pop those questions into the Q&A and we'll get to them. So first question, are there any strategies or tips for running an Instagram storefront in parallel with another program, such as your own website or Etsy store?
A strategy for an Instagram storefront. I wonder what she means or he means by that. Can you?
Well, so do you recommend, if you have different platforms, so you're selling on Etsy, you have a website, maybe your Facebook, Twitter, and you're on Instagram, do you put the same content across all of them? How does Instagram work interactively with your website and your Etsy store? So Dave, I rephrased your question, so if I did it wrong, just repost it with a little more detail.
Oh, I think when he said Instagram storefront, I was like confusing it with something else. I think he means shopping, right? Like having the products available to shop.
I bet that's what he means.
Okay. I think it really kind of comes down to understanding your customer and knowing the types of customers that you have frequenting each platform, or maybe the way that they shop on each platform, and that's how you would tailor the content that you then share on like Instagram versus Facebook versus like LinkedIn. To give you an example, let's say like, I know this isn't product related, but this is just like the first example that comes to my mind. If like a real estate agent, is on Facebook and Instagram, they're going to be targeting more direct to consumer, like homeowners, people who are buying or selling a home, versus LinkedIn, they may be talking about it more as like, in the terms of like investment opportunities or investment properties. So I would just keep that in mind in terms of the way that you do your campaigns.
Great. As a service business, I'm a mural artist. My typical go-to is to drive potential clients to my website. Do you believe that social media is more important as a point of contact than my website?
I think of social media as a distribution channel. It's a brand awareness platform to then bring people back to the website. So I think it's just like giving everybody the most opportunity they can to be able to, like, if they prefer to shop directly on Instagram, then like let them do that. But if they also prefer to shop on the website, like those people can do that too. So it's just making it the easiest possible. But I think of like social platforms as like where the party is. So you go where your people are to like get to know people. And that's why you show up there. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Are there any limits on how many people can be an admin?
I don't think so, but I've never reached a limit, so I'm not sure. I can look that up online and try to get back to you guys about that, but I haven't heard about an admin limit.
Well, and especially if you're having lots of admins, you probably want to get pretty strict on your brand guidelines so that if a bunch of different people are posting, you're in your company's voice and using the brand requirements and all that kind of stuff. So do you have any best practices around that?
Yeah, you don't always have to put everybody at the admin level. They could be at the editor level. I can't remember all the levels off the top of my head, but where they just, or they could be a moderator. So they're just managing the messages or comments that come in. Mm-hmm. And I think it'd be important to not have too many admins or give too many people admin access, just because they then would have the ability to technically remove you as an admin if they have the admin role. So I would be careful about who you give that admin role to.
Yeah, and I mean, employees come and go, volunteers come and go, like that's just a fact. It's not a judgment. But we've gotten into trouble before where one of our employees set up an account on behalf of a client using that employee's email address. And so what we've transitioned to is it's always the client email address, or it's my email address as the business owner. So we proof ourselves a little bit from that, because it definitely happens.
Yep, all those little details are very important for sure.
Yes. What is your best tip for using Instagram for ad campaigns?
Gosh, I'm gonna need a bit more detail about that. It's a very broad question. I mean, what do you want to accomplish? What's your goal?
Yeah, Chelsea, tell us about your business or what your goals for using Instagram are, what outcomes you want to see. Not sure if this was covered in part 1, but do you have any recommendations on social media manager softwares or apps, or is there a good technique overall?
Yeah, there's Later. I love Later. I think they provide social media management for Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest. I think those are the 3. I personally, for my business and for clients, use Sprout Social. And they have a lot of capabilities. You can connect like Google Analytics, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, but it's definitely a bit more expensive, whereas the Later account, you can, I think, post up to 30 posts a month for free. And so there's like a very low barrier to entry for Later. So I would recommend that as a starting point for everybody. They also have great analytics too. I think Planoly is also another good one, but I haven't ever used it, so.
Hey, magical Brian in the background, can you try and find URLs for those 3 platforms? So it was Later, Sprout Social, and Planoly?
Yeah, I think there's also another one called like Agora Pulse, and then
Hootsuite.
Hootsuite, yes. I don't like Hootsuite, I'm sorry. It gets the job done, but it's like so hard. I hate the interface and the navigation. Yeah, they're. Mm-hmm.
I hired better millennials than myself, so they manage our Hootsuite.
That's great.
Well, and one way that I've seen companies and nonprofits get into really big trouble is if they have posts scheduled, which is a great way to run a business, but if something big happens, you have to immediately pull all of your content. So I remember there was some pre-scheduled post. It was clearly pre-scheduled. Oh, it's Wednesday. I hope you have a really great day, or whatever it was. And
Yeah.
it was the day after the Thomas fire. and so I know it was an honest mistake, but it looked really bad. And so when, last week when the big push was to elevate Black voices, the first thing we did is unschedule everything because we didn't want to look we want our
That's what I did too.
Yep.
Totally.
So I love pre-scheduling posts. It's kind of the only way to do it efficiently, but just remember to pull things down if something
Exactly.
happens.
Definitely. Yep. That's what the clients I work with, hired me for. So I'm on that very quickly all the time. Yeah.
Yes. If our employees have access to our Instagram business account, does Instagram have the option to have admins and lower roles? I know Facebook does, but I don't know if Instagram does.
Nope, it doesn't. So yeah, it would be everybody having the login information, the username and password.
Got it. So this is...
Oh, I just remembered, if you're worried about, I guess, security purposes, you can always set up two-factor authentication. It's annoying, but at least, if there's anybody who's signing in that you don't want them to have access to it, and it's not already like set up on their phone, you can just set up two-factor authentication so that there's that second step to like then have to provide that code.
Yeah, and for my company, we have 10 to 20 clients at any given time, and we have all of their passwords, and sometimes it can be sensitive passwords like their PayPal account. Mm-hmm. And so we use a password manager, and we use LastPass.
Yeah, I love LastPass.
Oh my gosh, it's a lifesaver. Mm-hmm. So we've got two levels of accounts. We've got the super admin, which is me and my employee who's been with me for 7 years. And so that would be like banks and credit card information. And then the whole rest of the team has access to all of our client passwords, but they can't see them and they can't change them.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the fear is if you have a Word document of your client passwords and then a disgruntled employee leaves, they could do real damage. So that's my free advice, worth what you paid for it.
Definitely.
Okay. So Chelsea, following up from her question on how to do Instagram ads, the outcomes she wants to see is reaching more people who would buy her products. I sell art, functional and non-functional, but also I'm a graphic designer, and selling more consistently. So it sounds like sales pipeline.
Okay. I would say, first of all, if you don't have this already, to set up a business manager for your Instagram and your Facebook account, and connecting all of that together, and be intentional with creating custom audiences. So maybe look at your Instagram insights to see the type of people who engage the most, or just see the follower demographics that you have. Or you can also review previous customers who've purchased your product, and to gain insights in terms of the kind of person that you would want to target. I don't know if you would be targeting based on location, but I would really recommend getting clear on your customer avatar, and then using audience insights on Facebook. And just, it's a great tool. It's a free tool that you can use to kind of see how large your audience size would be based on the different data points that you're inserting, like age range and location and interests and stuff like that. And specifically targeting based on that, rather than just trying to boost your post to a lot of people. That doesn't really tend to go very far, or it doesn't tend to be as effective. And then in terms of, selling more effectively and selling more through Instagram ads, the answer I'm giving could be a whole other presentation right now. But I'm like, how do I respond to this? Always test your ads, experiment. Facebook I'm saying Facebook because you can, Facebook owns Instagram and you can run Instagram ads from Facebook, Business Manager, all that stuff. But yeah, I would do a lot of testing, make sure you have an adequate budget for testing. So at least like $5 a day or something like that to start. And then to, let's see, create a funnel, create like, I don't know if you would be familiar with that, but essentially what a funnel is, you would want to create an ad funnel, which maps out the customer journey from brand awareness to conversion. So keeping that in mind, if you're trying to like reach a new audience that would be interested in your products, you would think from the brand awareness level, okay, like what kind of content can I push for them to first, you know, be introduced to me, get to know me better and to know what like my products are about and what makes me different. So maybe that could be like a workshop or something that you're pushing. And then once you've like reached all those people, then you can retarget that cold audience with another ad. That could be maybe, you know, introducing them to your products or something, or, and then creating another retargeting ad to try to get, or to secure that conversion or secure that sale. So there's like a whole strategy just behind paid social that goes into it. But I wanted to just give you that high level overview of all the things that you can do to really be successful with that. But the biggest thing is just to continue testing. The more, I think a lot of times people like just give up after trying to run ads because they're like, oh, it's not working. I'm not seeing any results. But really you have to like, I think the key in the beginning is just from the ads that you run, getting as many insights as you can from the data, seeing what is working and what's not working, and kind of like building off of that. I'm like, so, okay, if they really responded to this one image or to this one video with this ad copy, let's build off of that. Like, how do we improve that and try to get more, you know, clicks or traffic based on this one ad that is performing well. So yeah, I hope that helps. I know I just like did a whole dump right there.
Sounds like perhaps a topic for a future webinar.
Maybe.
I offer an experience, a pedicab tour of solving with wine tasting. Okay, I want to go. How can I best market since I'm not selling a physical product?
Interesting. So service-based. I think you would try to start focusing on translating that experience through social media.
So it could be like pictures of clients in the pedicab, or seen on our tour today and it's a picture of a cute dog, or
yeah,
testimonials.
Definitely. Another really fun thing that you could do is like have somebody with an iPhone kind of just record the entire experience. It could be a fun little video, and that could turn into an ad right there, just targeting the solving area, or even LA to, you know, encourage people to come and include the pedicab in their visit to solving.
One thing that I like to do is have like a templated follow-up. So let's say that you rode in my pedicab yesterday. So then today you get an email from me saying, thank you so much. Please tell us about your experience. Here's a link to our Yelp and our whatever and our whatever. Mm-hmm. And so if you start to automate that and you don't have to recreate the wheel every time, you can start to build a whole bunch of testimonials and start turning those into content.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I love that right there.
Automate it. I don't like doing work twice.
And you shouldn't. Yeah. Set up those systems to make it easy. Yep.
Any recommendation on getting in touch with Instagram about a hacked account? This happened to me and I have had no luck getting in touch with them. I started a new Instagram, but I cannot link my very well-established business Facebook page to it. Any suggestions?
Oh, because it's linked to the hacked account, I'm assuming. Oh gosh, that is so frustrating. I I mean, I guess I'm wondering, I think in these situations, it's just like, I'd be asking, like, is there a way to disconnect the Instagram account from the Facebook page on the Facebook end? Have you, all the things that I'm mentioning, I'm sure you probably have done. So this is just me trying to figure out what you could possibly do. I'm looking up the menu right now. I mean, I'm assuming you've tried to report the account.
Does it help if more people report the account? So
yeah, it definitely does. You can sorry, go ahead.
So maybe if Facebook is really well established, on your Facebook page, you could say, our Instagram got hacked. Here's the link to our hacked account. Please report it.
That really does help too.
Boost it up a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen a lot of people do that where sometimes it's not a hacked account, but I've seen other people highlight the fact that somebody's using their name and likeness in a different account and like selling a service that they actually don't sell at all. Yep. So they'll tell everybody to go report it, and then it's typically taken down. So that might help too. And, you know, expanding it, not just putting it out on Facebook and Instagram, but also sending it out to your email list if you want to or something.
That's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry that happened to you, Tracy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's really frustrating.
Yeah. So we are through all of our questions. We did have a question in the chat about how people could get in touch with you. So guess what, guys? Your tax dollars at work make Erin available to you. So EDC is supported by your tax dollars. Brianne put the hotline number in the chat box. You can call the hotline and request an appointment with Erin. She's so great.
Thank you.
We have one more follow-up. So Tracy said, what do you mean tell people to report it?
I think there's an option to report the account. You would just link the account and then, let me see. I can't remember off the top of my head what that looks like. Oh, so if you're on an account, you would tap, or visiting an account, you would tap the three dots in the top right corner, and you have the option restrict, block, report. So then you would just report it. And then it gives you the options to then categorize why you're reporting it. So it's spam or it's inappropriate, and then it'll take you through the prompts.
Yeah, so maybe include those instructions.
Yep, definitely.
Yep. Okay. Any other last minute questions, friends? Put it in that Q&A. Erin, do you have a sense for what next week's presentation will be about?
You know, that Facebook ads, Instagram ads idea might be a good one. Yeah, that might be the next one. I also thought maybe it would be worth doing a deeper dive into like hashtags, because I know that came up in the previous one a lot.
I think that's good. I think too, I liked what you were talking about with the sales funnel and what are the different steps to that funnel, and how do you know what content will work for each different stage of that funnel?
Right. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, I see no more questions.
Okay, perfect.
We're out of class early. Oh, here's another one. Have you considered choosing an Instagram account to analyze live? Oh, that's a good idea.
Have I considered choosing an Instagram account to analyze live? Mm-hmm.
So like you could pull up my company's Instagram account and then analyze it and say, love this, don't love this, change this. Tracy. That's a good idea.
That is. I think that's a great idea. I just don't want to what company would I choose? I think if somebody wanted to, yes, and we're okay with being in the spotlight, I'd be happy to do that.
Well, worst case, we can use my company.
Okay. I just wouldn't want to be giving unsolicited advice for a company that didn't ask for it.
Yeah, so if anyone here wants to be our guinea pig, shoot us an email, because I think that is such a good idea. And talk about a great opportunity to get Erin's expertise and her eyes right on your content without even having to call the hotline.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be a lot of fun, actually.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we've done good work today.
Likewise. Thank you so much for moderating, Emily and Brianne.
Oh, Tracy said she'll do it. All right, Tracy, we're going to email you.
Awesome.
Nice. All right. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining.
Bye.
Bye.